connecting, right? Let's see how it goes. So far, so good. Holy shit, it's pulling way more than it did at my house. So normally
Yeah.
I'm pulling like 700, 600, and it's in the red. Right now it easily says like 26, 20, like 27.
Wow.
So far so good. So yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Action Bros Gaming. And yes, we are actually live. This is not a pre-recorded sort of stream. We are actually live. It is me and it is our my co-host Riley. We're
Reading people.
we're both here today on Discord, ready to talk about some shows and some things that have come out recently, just like old times. So, um, for starters, Riley, how have you been? How you been doing?
I've been kind of sick today, but I've been all right. I've been hanging in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
How
man.
about you, man?
Oh man, I've been I've been, let's put it that way. Uh but today, a lot of stuff has come out since I think the last podcasts we really did were covering Rings of Power. Like
Yeah, I guess so.
what a show that was, right?
What a weird man. It's disappointing, but in like a lot of strange ways.
Yeah. Oh man. But it's okay, Riley, cuz we had a decent show that came out recently, Andor, which I don't know if you did you ever finish that show? Cuz I did.
I think we finished it together.
Yeah, that was a fun show. That had a lot of good stuff. It was actually I don't think we ever got to I never released my review of it cuz I just didn't have the time to edit it, but it was a very good like Star Wars show for once, with a lot of deep character
Yeah.
development and things like that. Um but now we're back with Mandalorian, and isn't that lovely?
You know what? I don't know what I expected out of Mandalorian. I figured it was going to be like a lot of other shows where they start strong and then they just kind of teeter off.
Right.
So I know that like Book of Boba was very middling.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, with Book of Boba Fett, it was much like a lot of it a lot of that show was just one, what's the purpose of this show besides Boba Fett making a full out of himself, because that's kind of what he does. Aside from, you had the Power Ranger bikes that, yes, did not belong on Tatooine. So
You're never gonna let that go.
I'm never gonna let it go. I'm gonna That's gonna be on my gravestone. Like the Boba Fett bike should not have been on Tatooine.
What's that called? It's uh like dissonance or something or like
Yeah, something like that.
uh
Oh man. Let's see. Come check it out. Cause I'm totally gonna have viewers on Facebook that are gonna watch our stream. Totally. That's gonna be great. Um, but hey, gotta market where you can, right? So today, since Riley has not seen the latest episodes of Mandalorian, um, we're gonna discuss that today. We're gonna discuss all that fun jazz. So, Riley, are you ready?
yeah, I'm good to go.
Here's actually my plan, real quick. I think to make this good for you, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen so that way you can see it. Um, Makes a few adjustments here on OBS, so that way you can actually watch the Mando show as I'm discussing it. So let's see if that works. Can you see it? Can you see like my mouse and the title and shit? Because I figure if we could try that, that'd work well. Um, but if not, I can always just describe it to you in intricate detail. So we'll go ahead and start off. I've got it muted, so it's going on a previously on Mandalorian, because it's been 2 years since the show has come out, right? Or since the last episode aired. It's been a minute. Um, So it starts out showing that IG unit from
Is this the book of the IG unit?
yeah, exactly.
I would love that actually.
Oh man,
The
yeah.
fucking nanobot.
Yeah. The one which by the way, if you remember right here, self-destructed, right? It went kablooey. Blew the fuck up. Uh so it's going over that and essentially what it's talking about is it's talking about how Mando was on the quest to give up Grogu, how he gave Grogu to Luke Skywalker, and funny enough, it shows scenes from Book of Boba Fett, which I find funny because it's like previously on The Mandalorian, scenes from a completely different show that you haven't watched, or may not have watched. Um,
Hmm.
because there's a big plot point in Book of Boba Fett where uh Mandalorian removes his helmet, and then all of the he removes the helmet to one thing help Grogu, another thing so he can see him one last time. Uh, and when he goes to tell the other Mandalorians about this, they're like, "Ah, yes, then you are no longer a Mandalorian."
It's like, listen, buddy, we had one rule.
one
We
rule,
really only have one rule.
yeah. And so, he okay. So I think it's funny that out of the three last Mandalorians that are living right now, the one that has the dark saber, which by their rules means that he should be the king of the Mandalorians, essentially. But because he took his helmet off, nah, he's like you're an apostate now. You're exiled. It's like really, we're we're
So,
we're
okay,
drawing,
so
we're stopping we're stopping it there.
this brings up questions. So they're just kind of in like this limbo of like the the person who like inherited the dark saber and should be our king is an apostate.
Yep, basically.
So who does the dark saber go to after that?
Well, we don't know. And I mean, he keeps it, which is funny because they're like, you're a Mandalorian no more. And he's like, so do I get to keep the dark saber? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, can I keep the armor? And they're like, yeah. He's like, can I still keep bounty hunting? And they're like, oh, I mean, I guess so. He's like, so I'm still basically a fucking Mandalorian.
So he is a Mandalorian in every way except title.
yeah, yeah. And here's the kicker, and I never thought about it before, but they said they say it here and they say it later on. They say the only way to be redeemed, to be a Mandalorian, to become one once again, is you have to bathe in the living waters of Mandalore, which by the way, he's never done before. Um and also Mandalore has been glassed like the planet Reach.
Okay, here's the thing. That is not a lore accurate rule. They made that up for the show.
Yeah, that you
There's
have to
no
be essentially
way.
baptized in very specific waters.
Yeah, there's no way that like George Lucas or anybody, there's no way that they like had that in mind when writing the Mandalorian lore.
Yeah, yeah. I love this because he literally she says you have to bathe in the living waters of Mandalore. And he goes, "But the mines have been destroyed." And she goes, "This is the way." I'm sorry. No the fuck it's not.
I love that they use that line so much whenever no
oh
one
my
else
god.
has anything informative or clever to say. It
Yeah.
is just a placeholder line.
I don't get it, I mean, there's a oh, McPherson says hello there. Hello there, McPherson. Welcome to the stream. I like how he always pops in on our streams. Um we're dissing Mandalorian. You might want to not like join us for that. or maybe call Philip and
Jeremy, cut the footage, delete everything.
scrap it all. we're giving out hot takes about the Mandalorian. We can't be seen.
Yeah, put like C4 charges on the computer,
so
EMP your house.
I didn't check. Can you see the
No,
show
I'm
playing?
watching everything.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Cool. I just wanted to make sure. So this is the fun part. So it begins with a very we're going to be kind of spotting in here and there, but it begins with a very clean area of the blacksmith shop, which I feel like is an oxymoron. Um And they show off this little mask here, which is a interesting thing for episode 2. You know, it's the classic uh, iconography of the Mandalorians, right? You know, of this creature, which I can't remember the name of. I think it's like a mythosaur or something like that. Um,
Wow. Very clever naming conventions.
yeah, like the mythos. It's but dinosaur. Um,
Yeah, with the mythosaur.
yeah, totally.
We
Uh,
took two words and put them together.
so she's hammering away, making some sort of shit. It looks like I believe she ends up making a helmet. It's like a tiny kid's helmet. They're doing a drum. They're doing some sort of performance. This isn't like a precursor. This is like to date. So it looks like she's trying to build the Mandalorians as they are now. We have this kid who's getting his first helmet. And it reminds me of something that I thought was funny. If they're indoctrinating children into being Mandalorians and he puts on this kid's helmet, does he have to like wear that helmet for all eternity now? Because he wouldn't be able to take that off, right? Or
Okay, this is assuming that this is of okay, I would say yeah.
yeah, he would have to keep it on forever.
Yep.
Shit. It's like the fucking Chinese uh foot crushers, you know, the things that make their feet small, except it's a helmet. Like as he grows up, his head
Because
just
that's the
stays the
thing, it's
same.
like that's the thing is like if this kid is a kid, he's gonna grow out of that helmet eventually.
Eventually, yes.
But it's like he takes it off to like get refitted for a new helmet, and they're just like, you're an apostate now.
Yeah, get the fuck out. um, but things pick up really interesting. So, what is your have you ever been told the Disney formula for Star Wars?
Uh, say, tell me what it is, because I
So
feel like you told me what it
yeah,
is
we've
before.
talked about it before, but generally, I say this now, because I have seen the episode, but I do find it funny that other people have predicted it and were right. So I'm not going to say that I predicted it because I've already seen it. Um, but generally, the Disney formula for Star Wars shows is normally 2 to 3 fight scenes in an episode and about 1 or 2 cameos per episode, depending, you know, with some variation. Um,
Hmm.
and I think it's funny because these 2 episodes kind of follow that to a T. Um, so we're starting out with them kind of doing a little bit of world building, which isn't bad. They're growing their numbers. Um,
Sure.
right, you know, starting off small, starting off subtly. She's basically baptizing him in the Mandalorian ways, um, with not the living waters. So that's bullshit. No, I'm kidding.
Wait a
Um,
minute. Okay.
from this moment on, I
Is
shall
this a
never
flashback?
remove my helmet.
Okay, this is a flashback, right?
Mm-mm. Nope.
I don't fucking.
Yeah, and
Uh,
then that happens. So,
oh, okay, hold the fucking pause for a minute. They're saying that like, okay, this is present day.
yes,
They told what's his name,
Din Djarin or something like that.
Din. They told the Mandalorian. They told him that he had to be baptized in the living waters of Mandalore. And she said that. Wait, fucking Jin said that like the mines were closed. Are these not those waters?
Nope, this is a completely separate planet, my friend.
Then what the fuck is the point of the scene?
Well, apparently they're creating Mandalorians without using the living waters, which makes me beg the question, why like is there no other form of redemption than having to
Then
bathe in
why
the
the
waters that no longer exist?
Okay, so if they can create new Mandalores by baptizing them in different waters, why the fuck does Din need to do any of the shit?
That's honestly
Why
the most valid question, I think.
why does he need to be baptized
What the fuck is
in
the
order to
point?
become a Mandalore? Are the rules different if you're an apostate?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, probably, you know, but honestly, who fucking knows? when it comes to this show and the way they write their things. Honestly, I feel like they're giving up at this point. They're like, fuck it, he has to go bathe in Mandalore so we can get Mandalorian or shots of that planet because that'll make all of the Clone Wars fans coom.
I guess. And also, just one more little caveat. Like, Din said that, like, the mines were closed. That means the waters are in mines.
Yes. Yes.
So, uh, are they going to explain what the fuck the mines are? Mines are where they mined all the Beskar are, like Beskar, right?
I would assume so. Yes.
So there's apparently mystical waters that some ceremony have to take place in those mines.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what? No further shit. Keep fucking
So
playing.
yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. There's this attack, right? What do you think? As a Mandalorian, you see this giant beast. What do you think are the what would be your options for this fight?
I I don't know. It looks
Like
like a
you got
crocodile.
weapons, you got a jetpack, you got caves. Like what would you do?
Um, I would wait. So we have caves, we have weapons. I assume that they just throw explosives at it. They seem to do that a lot in the shows that they throw explosives.
Throwing explosives, that'd be a good idea. Let's just watch and
I
see
mean,
what they end up doing.
okay.
So, you know, creature raw starts attacking. They're shooting at
Just a
it.
big fucking, it's
Um,
just a big fucking alligator.
yeah, but the shooting seems to do nothing. A guy got crushed, but notice that they're not like they're not they're just kind of shooting at it in the proximity. Like they're still in melee range if you're looking at it from D&D perspective.
Yeah.
They have jetpacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have a cave they could fall back to and just let this creature go back into its hole because it couldn't get in the fucking cave. It wouldn't fit.
That dude is that dude was like spraying a flamethrower at a at this creature who is almost submerged underwater.
And also, I am getting sick of the whole blasters aren't working on its skin. You know, I mean,
Yeah, that
it sinks through metal, right? It would.
yeah.
They're shooting like the inside of its mouth, so you know. Oh, here now they're using the explosives. So, bada bing,
Mhm.
bada boom, cool camera shot. It's
Mm,
still like they're just getting fucking shellacked, and I'm like, guys, they're trying to rope it and tie it down, and
yeah.
yeah, so it's honestly it's a little cringe. It does a barrel roll and it slings the guys over. It's like, what the fuck do you think you're? What
Have they never encountered this creature before?
she and I know I'm guessing not, but what I find funny is she runs up with her fucking hammer and sickle because I that's what I think of whenever I see it. Like, she runs in with the melee weapons as if it's going to do anything. Um,
Right. Okay.
not sure why she hasn't let them go yet, but she's pulling people out. But anyway, yeah, so they're getting their asses whooped by a creature they could have just ran away from because it's not that fast. So there's that.
Uh,
Oh, and I'm waiting for there's a big reveal. This is what lets you know it's not a prequel. Is boom, that's Mandalorian on his really tiny starship, the Naboo starfighter. So it is present
what?
day. And oh, proton torpedo. Oh, we've seen that before. So yeah, they kill the beast. Fun in the sun. How was that for a fight scene, Riley? Was that like that? That
I
gets your
really could not give a fuck less.
that gets your tits hard.
No, not even. No, they're fully soft. So he shot a torpedo. Okay, hey Grogu, what's up?
Yeah. So
It's good to see you.
here's what I find funny. I don't know if you watched the other episodes of you never watched Mandalorian season 2, right?
No, I watched the entirety of it with
Oh,
you guys.
okay. So yeah, so you know it's like I find it funny that they went from his quest is to give Grogu back to the Jedi, to his people or whatever. And then you know, at the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian, he gives him away to Luke Skywalker, right?
Yeah.
And then during the Book of Boba Fett, um, Luke does a 180 and he's like, nah, man, you're either a Jedi or you're a Mandalorian. You have to leave both behind. What's it going to be? And Grogu decides to join back with the Mandalorian. So, if you just watched season 2 and then went straight to season 3, it's like, oh, we gave away Grogu. It was so wholesome or whatever. And then it's like, wait, why the fuck is he back? So,
Yeah, okay. So Grogu, I guess, just decided for himself because Luke gave him that option. He gave him like that
yeah.
chainmail shirt.
Yeah. I just thought it was
And
funny that they just absolutely 180'd themselves on the direction that they were going with the show, not even in the show itself.
is the Jedi Order not the least bit concerned that Grogu is like just off now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main reason why is because they didn't want Grogu to be one of the Jedi that Kylo Ren killed in the sequel trilogy. So like, quick, get him out of here. And also, what are
I
we going to do without our Grogu merchandise?
I guess so.
Yep, that's how it feels to me anyway. Feels very feels very heavy handed that they were like, shit, we need a Grogu back. Um, but yeah, so he's back. He's doing his little thing, and then boom, the Mandalorian is back with season 3 in this episode, The Apostate. So this scene basically says the same things that were in Book of Boba Fett and the same thing that we just watched in the preview from that scene, which is you've removed your helmet. You're an apostate. You got to go bathe in the waters of Mandal, like the shit we've already seen before. And it's like this feels redundant as a scene. Um, but again, I just find it funny that the King of Mandalorians is no longer a Mandalore. Uh, yeah, I love this. So he's like, the Mandalorians speak of redemption, and she's like, redemption is no longer possible since the destruction of our home. We're like, nope. You can no longer be redeemed if you fuck up. So there's that.
Okay, here's the thing. What what I find above all confusing is that this show has already established that there are multiple creeds and clans
Yes,
of
there's like
Mandalorian.
there's a oh
So
man,
this is a very specific ritual to their culture alone.
exactly. They're basically a cult.
Yeah.
Um,
So and
oh god,
also
what is it?
so
I'm trying to think about the cult that was in Clone Wars.
I can't remember.
Let me see. What are they called? Oh yeah, the Death Watch. So because this group is called the Watch, and in the Clone Wars they were known as Death Watch. So
Are
I
they the
think they're a
same thing?
subsect of the original Death Watch. This group, because in season 2 the Mandalorians that showed up all had blue armor, which the Death Watch are known to have blue armor. So I assume that this is a like a subsect of them.
Yeah, so this is like an extremist religious sect of the Mandalorians.
Yeah, basically. So
Are,
it was the Death Watch that did the whole idea of
so my
whoever holds
question
the
is,
dark saber is the king. So this is a
okay,
subsect of that. So they're even more crazy.
okay, so my question is, can Mandalorians just go to a different clan?
I honestly, I'm not sure because at this point in the show, there's not really many clans out there anymore since so many have died. Because or at least they make it seem like the Watch is the last ones left. Besides, um, what's her face from the Clone Wars. Shit, I can't think of her fucking name. Um, but she's in this episode, I'm pretty sure. God, Clone
All
Wars.
right, moving on.
Yeah, moving on because she'll be relevant later on. But yeah, there's not many subsects left. So they basically talk about uh, going to Mandalore and is it still possible? And by this point, she thinks that it's not possible. She thinks that the world has been poisoned and that Mandalore is gone. It's been desecrated. It's planet Reach. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he's basically saying, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna go to Mandalore anyway because that's all I've got left. That's the only thing I can do. This is the way. Yada yada. Um, and so he begins his quest to go out again. I'm sorry, but I'm not a fan of him flying the Naboo starfighter. I think his old ship was better for what Mandalorians do. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess he is not. I mean, he had that ship when he was like 100% like bounty hunting. I guess he's not really bounty hunting anymore.
I know, and it's sad because I think the bounty hunting was probably one of the coolest parts of Mandalorians is them being bounty
They never
hunters.
really expanded on that, huh?
No, and that was my problem with the first season. I think if season 1 ended where episode 1 began, it would have been a much better show. Taking and spend an entire season of this Mandalorian going on bounty hunting, being ruthless and a killer and all that jazz. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, and then have the end of the season with him being like, yeah, but I'm not gonna kill a kid, so I guess I'm gonna be Daddy Mando now. That I thought would have been really cool. Um, but now we're heading back to Navarro with this city where they basically transformed it from the hellscape mines that it was before uh, to a port and the I can't remember what they say, but it's like basically the vacation spa of the Outer Rim. Yeah, the gym of the Outer Rim. So this is the same planet we've come across a couple of times, but as we've seen, it slowly is getting better and better and improving. But I think this transition's been a bit rapid. It went from basically gray molten rock to this, which is like an actually pleasant city. You know what I mean?
So the Mandalorians were fully like under the impression that the planet Mandalore was a fucking wasteland.
Well, not Mandalore. This isn't Mandalore. This is a different town. This is the town that Mando visited a couple of times with Carl Weathers. You know that um you'll see him in a second, but he basically became mayor of this town and he took it from a rubble cityscape to a prosperous town. Um,
Okay.
so it's a planet that we're supposed to be familiar with, and I just thought it was
Um,
neat. So you see, IG his statue is here from because he sacrificed himself in the lava
they
to.
made him a statue.
Yeah, they made him a statue.
He's a fucking droid.
Yep, but he helped
You
helped the
can just make
cause.
another droid.
Yep. But funny enough, they act. We'll get to it in a sec. But yeah, they made a statue out of him, and I was like, I guess that's neat.
Okay. No, you know how you said like each season or something has like a cameo?
Yep.
Can I just make a prediction?
Sure.
I feel like Mace Windu.
Really, that would be a
They,
cameo.
they gotta fucking do it eventually, right?
That would be. He's like the Nick Fury of Star Wars. I
Oh man, if he's just like full like Nick Fury mode,
that actually. I mean, as much as I'm sick of all the cameos, I would still be like, that's actually kind of cool.
I mean, I feel like Mace Windu deserves a bigger show to have a cameo in, but
Yeah, I agree. Because Mace Windu, but yeah, this guy, the actor Carl Weathers. If you saw
it's
him before,
good to
like,
see him.
yeah, he's been in he was in the previous ventures, and now he's like, oh look, look at what I've done with the place. Um, so it's funny because originally he was like, I'm gonna send you out to go and find this bounty of Grogu, and then he's like, yeah, come with me on this one mission where we go do a thing, and now when they meet again, he's like, we're like old buddies, and it's like, you guys have seen each other probably 3 times.
I would love to be like I would love to see it like every time Mando like comes to see this guy, he has like a higher rank and is in charge of like a
Oh no,
nicer city
yeah, yeah,
every time.
it is. That's actually what it is. Let me see if I can find it. There was a meme that McPherson sent me that was funny as shit. Uh, Star Wars. Let's see. Yeah, Grief Karga outfits.
I just think it would be really funny. Like every time we see him, he's of a higher position in a nicer city
Oh
every time.
yeah, I mean that's it's kind of what happens. Yeah, here let me pull up this image for you. It's very funny, but it shows each of his outfits in transition. I wanna change my screen sharing, change windows. So take a look at this image right here. Uh, this is him in each iteration of the Mandalorian, and you just notice his outfit gets nicer and nicer.
Yeah,
So you're kind of right. That's exactly what happens. Let me see if I can
I
bring up.
want it to keep going forever.
Yep, yep. It was funny because the picture that McPherson sent me, it basically just the next level just showed a guy from what looked like some sort of gala in this long golden robe.
Hmm.
And I was like, that would be perfect for for this. All right, so let's get you back on the Mando show. Okay, so essentially Mandalorian is on a side quest. I think it's a side quest. This doesn't give I'm sorry, but getting baptized in this situation, I mean, getting baptized in a religious sense is a big deal, right? But this is like you need to bathe in these specific waters in order to even be redeemed in the eyes of the Mandalorians because you took your helmet off. Seems very minuscule. You know what I mean? It seems it gives me very much side quest energy. Uh, so with that, he's on this side quest and he's trying. He explains why he's here, which is basically he needs a droid to help him on his quest to analyze if the planet is poisoned. Which I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure you don't need a droid to tell whether or not a planet is poisoned.
Okay, Mandalore got destroyed.
Well, it's not destroyed; it's just desecrated.
It's desecrated.
Yes.
Did they ever explain, or was there ever an explanation as to what happened
Yes,
on Mandalore?
that happened during the Clone Wars, Clone Wars TV show. Essentially, what happened? I haven't gotten that far in the Clone Wars yet, but from what I know, the Empire basically did a bombing run on the planet Mandalore, and they essentially did a Halo Reach glassing of the planet. So they
Yeah,
didn't blow it up, but they basically made the surface you know incorrectable.
gotcha. Okay.
Um, so so essentially what happens in the show is yeah he's saying he needs an AI or a droid to help him with this venture, but oh no, oh and dear, as he's talking about what's going on, pirates have arisen in the streets. Let's see. Jace is asking
But
if we have started podcasting. I want to tell him yes, but yeah, they're straight up like Pirates of the Caribbean, or not Pirates of the Caribbean pirates, but like swashbucklers in the streets of Navarro.
uh, okay.
And so
I,
as basically the sheriff of the town, Carl Weathers is like, "Oh shit, I'm going to get my way down over there." And the pirates are like, "We want to have a drink in this building and we're not going to take no for an answer." Essentially is what's happening. Um the dude's like, stand aside." Carl Weathers comes out and he's like, "Chill. What's going on?" The pirates are like, "Hey, how's it going? It's been so long. We want to have a drink here." What Essentially what's happening is they're saying we want to have a drink in this building because it used to be a bar. And Grief Karga says, well, it was a bar, now it's a school. So, you
What's up,
know,
Mech Dads?
oh shit, McPherson, or not McPherson, Jace is here. Jesus.
Fuck you, too.
What? I've been
Jace,
talking
get
about
the fuck
McPherson.
out of here.
Listen, it's okay because we were hanging out with this kid named John today, and I was like, there's too many J names in our group.
There are a lot of J names in our group. It's not even funny, honestly. Oh, I see. Oh, I see how that's doing. Okay, let me fix that. Cause that's all that. All right.
What are you nerds up to?
We're talking
All right,
about
you
the
know
Mandalorian
what?
show.
All right, you know what, Jeremy? 3 is a crowd. Jace, you take it over from here for me.
Where you going? Or
We keep this episode going. Let's see
Yeah,
what's
yeah, yeah, yeah. We're it's actually just starting to get to the good stuff, Riley. I think all of us are going to have quite a hoot as to what goes on down here, because this is a funny situation. So, obviously, Navarro has come a long way, and it's a better place than what it used to be. Jace, if you want to follow along, you can jump on the screen that I'm sharing right now.
yeah, I see the guy in the colorful fucking robes.
Yeah, yeah. So,
He's got a nice goatee though.
yeah, man, Carl Weathers, he can grow it out. But these pirates that have showed up, they're like, I want to drink in this building. And Grief Cargo, who's played by Carl Weathers, says, well, that's all well and good, except now it's a school, so you can't like have a drink in this building because it's a school, it's a kid's school. So come, we'll just have a drink in my office and we'll talk about old times or whatever. And then the pirate's like, no, this used to be a bar and I want to have a drink in the school specifically. So that's what I'm going to do. And I don't know about you, but that, like, what the fuck? I don't understand why this is such a big point for him, where he's like, no, this school is a bar. It used to be a bar. It's still a bar. I want to drink there.
The Mandalore has some of the most artificial, like, it has some of the most artificial conflict possible.
Yeah, like right here. We drink here.
It's such like it's like some of the conflict happens because people do not act like any way possible.
They're just assholes. They just act like
They,
complete assholes.
it's it's inhuman the way that these people behave. I mean, I know that they're aliens, but like, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
They behave in a way that it's to such an extreme that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's pushing to a particular point, and Mando's just chilling over here. Um, and so they're doing a kind of a Wild West standoff where and I'll give them credit, like the makeup and the costumes for the pirates look pretty good. They look all right, but I don't understand the contention to this point. And to what I was saying earlier, this goes along with the idea that we have to have like 3 fight scenes or action scenes in an episode. So it just kind of feels like this is construed where they're like, oh, we need a fight, so here we'll just have them bicker about this. We'll have some pirates that wanted to drink at a bar that is now a school, and they shoot each other, and it just the writing doesn't do it justice.
Why are you turning a bar into a school? I feel like architecturally that's just a bad move.
Honestly, that's not a bad point. I mean, if it's known for a bar, you might want to put a school somewhere like different.
Maybe a safe spot.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
like,
And yeah,
to go drink.
this dude is legit ready to shoot. He's like, okay, if you're not gonna serve me a drink here, I'm gonna fucking shoot you.
I like his.
Yeah,
He literally doesn't give a fuck.
yeah, exactly. And so we are now at Wild West standoff here, and it's just you can hear the wow wow going on as they're getting ready. Tense music, blah blah blah. What's gonna happen is, are they gonna shoot or are they not gonna shoot? Mando's just chilling there, like, sure, whatever happens, happens. And
Wasn't this about Mando getting baptized?
right, yeah, basically. And then finally, but bam, shoots his hand. Oh no! And he's like, "Tell your captain that Navarro is no longer friendly to pirates." And I find it funny because I'm thinking, wouldn't you have said that previously if you didn't want pirates in your town? Like you're
Well, yeah, he was totally cool with them until they decided to be dicks about the whole school thing.
And then he's like, "Yeah,
Right.
no pirates in my pretty town." It's like, well, if you didn't like pirates, it seems like, if you wanted your town to appear nice, you wouldn't have had pirates there beforehand.
I don't really think you can control where pirates go, though.
Well,
I
I
feel like
mean, if
kind
you
of do what they want.
By definition.
that's fair, but I still think if
I think
you
the
have to
no
you have to
pirate
think this is Star
and
Wars.
pirates
We have
go up.
ships that are in the sky in the space. I feel like if you didn't want pirates in your town, you would have some sort of anti-air defenses.
True.
Instead of letting them drop off,
I mean,
walk
yeah,
in, and then offer like want to go to a bar. Then it's like, oh, if we're on the ground, then I'll stand you up. But if you had starships, well, oh shit, I guess I'm stuck.
right.
It just doesn't. It feels like the only conflict that's happening with the pirates would have to be on the ground.
Right.
And then, but bam, they start pulling out shit, and they kill all of his buddies, and he seems to take it fairly well. And he's like, well, shit. So he bounces, and this is the point where Mando starts talking about how he needs a droid. And I do find it funny that they reference what is it, Cara Dune? Uh, what's her face? What's her face's character in Mandalorian? But basically, they kind of blacklisted her because she had said some things that Disney didn't like, so they fired her, and now they're kind of writing her off into.
Oh, the badass chick from like season 1.
Yeah. Season 1 and season 2.
God, she played like a character in Deadpool, I think.
Yeah,
There's
she did.
season-
She's
What season are you watching?
I don't know. They listen, man. They checked her bank account and she bought a copy of Hogwarts Legacy, and it was fucking over for her.
Yeah. As soon as that happened, her career was just dead. Oh man, but so they write her off, and then Mando says, "No, I need a droid so that way they can test Mandalore to see if it's poisoned or not." Which, like I said, I feel like you could use any sort of device to figure that, and not necessarily need a droid specifically, unless you needed them to help you with fighting or whatnot. And so they talk about that, and he decides he wants that IG unit. And out of all the droids, he could get another one, but no. He wants the IG unit that self-destructed specifically. And here's my problem. They say, these are his parts, are they not? And the guy says, yeah, I mean, it's a good bit of them. It's what's left of them. And when I'm in my head, I'm thinking, okay, this guy self-destructed in his chest because the self-destruct mechanism is so that way nobody can get access to their memory, to their like thoughts or any sort of information that they have, right?
Files that they have.
Yeah. So if you had a self-destruct mechanism inside you, what would be left over besides like an arm, a leg?
True.
Right?
I can't help but feel like if I was to design a droid, I would put all of the important circuitry in the chest.
Yeah, or in the head, right?
Yeah.
And so I love how specific Mando is, because I keep wanting to call him Carl Weathers because that's the actor. He's like, don't you want just like a different IG unit or a regular droid? Don't you want someone that you could program to trust you and things like that? And he's like, no, this droid that blew up, I want that guy. That's the one.
Okay.
Jeremy, I gotta be honest with you, buddy. I'm really not invested in the show.
Yep, no, me neither. It's not great. And here's the funny thing: when they take his pieces, they take the chest and head, which means that was what was left over. That survived somehow.
So what? Only the arms and legs self-destruct?
Yes, because the legs were submerged in lava, and I guess the arm blew off.
Here for capture you.
Yeah, it's like you captured most of the droid at that point. I'll try and keep this going quickly. That way we can get past a lot of this shit because the one interesting thing that it does is because its memory circuit was fried, it straight up goes Terminator 2 and decides to kill Grogu, which was its original assignment. Um, and they even do the CG like Terminator crawling yeah, and shit. And Mando can't hit it for some fucking reason, which is really funny.
I mean, I think we've seen this before. This droid is like, I think we've seen this before that this droid is like resistant to blaster fire.
That's fair. That's fair. But a statue did crush its head, so you know it isn't resistant to bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, I mean,
But I'm gonna skip over this because it's bullshit. They bring back what's the fucking alien Babu Frick. They bring back Babu Frick from the sequel trilogy because you know all the audience was to see that. And they say, and here's the kicker, Riley. They say, oh no, the droid is broken. You have to go and find a memory circuit to fix the droid to go on the bullshit side quest. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening with the show? We are going on so many small side quests on what I thought was going to be a bigger picture, just because he took off his helmet and is technically no longer Mandalorian. This is fucking dumb. I'm sorry, it's dumb.
Also, didn't Carl Weathers like basically make him sheriff?
I mean, essentially. I mean, well, Carl Weathers is kind of the sheriff. He's trying to appoint Mando, but Mando's like, nah, man, I gotta go and get my rep back as a Mandalorian.
By keeping his helmet on?
No, he has to go and take a bath.
That's it? That's all he has to do?
He has to bathe in the mines of Mandalore, in the living waters of Mandalore, in order to be redeemed, because that's the only way you can redeem yourself. And by the way, Mandalore has been glassed like the planet Reach.
Dang, dude. Pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. He is literally still a Mandalorian, just not by title
He
anymore.
has the dark saber, he has the outfit, and he can still bounty hunt. He's a Mandalorian in every fucking way.
He has lost no rights or privileges by not being a Mandalorian anymore.
He's only lost title.
That's it.
Yep.
I don't feel enough. Like, is there more pressing matters he could be attending to?
Nope.
Actually,
they are out of ideas. So here we are, and now we have our third fight scene. The pirates are coming out, and they're like, "Oh, you thought you could just get away with killing my friends, Mandalorian? Well, I'm here to kick your butt." And he easily starts dispatching and killing off all of them in this Naboo starfighter, which is, I mean, that's neat. I really want to find that shot because there's a new creature afoot. And it was interesting for me to look at, and so I wanted to get y'all's interpretations of it. So they're going after him. He's doing this thing. There's that. So they're flying through an asteroid field because Empire Strikes Back, but now it's easy. And they come across this not like this plant that's set up on an asteroid field. It's set up on an asteroid, and Mando he fucking shoots a ship, and they crash into this building. I'm like, yeah, no, that didn't just kill, some innocent civilians that were just doing their own shit. It's like, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, thank God they only hired Jewish people, and it was Hanukkah today.
Oh yeah, this shit. So here we are, this big ship, which actually kind of looks pretty cool. They set up these little torpedo shots.
Okay, also, before we continue, I also just want to say, there are asteroids that are like the size of like literally your fingernail, and they're still considered asteroids.
Yeah.
So he would have been flying through all that shit too. It's not just big fucking moon-sized chunks.
No.
Yep.
And there is like a shit ton of dust and shrapnel-sized asteroids that would tear your ship apart.
Yep.
Just completely.
I mean, that's why when you see, that's why I could understand it with the Millennium Falcon because it's a fucking hulk of a ship, right? And even
Mhm.
then, they're like, "Do you realize what the fuck you're doing? Like, you're sailing
Right.
into an asteroid." With Mando, it's like they don't even question it. They don't even acknowledge it. They're just like, "Ah, you know, chase after him." And it's like, yeah, you do realize you're in an asteroid field, guys.
It's
Yeah.
almost added as protocol,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
So here we go. We have grassy Atriox over here. Like,
Oh my god, it's a swamp thing.
I don't know about you, but this character right here. Let's see if I can pause it on it because he looks
way
just like a brute from Halo, but he has like green shit on him.
What'd you say?
I said he looks like a brute from Halo, but he's got all this green shit on him.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking. Like, because the way he walks and kind of the way he looks like that cutscene that they did where he's doing that monologue.
Yeah. And so there's that. He's an interesting looking creature. And like, surrender your ship, blah blah blah. And Mando's like, nah, fam, never trust a pirate. Hiya. And he pushes a button, and then hyperspace is out of there because yeah, it's easy. Boom, he's gone. Oh, Bo-Katan, that was the name I was thinking of. He shows up, and goes to talk to Bo-Katan. So there's your cameo, Riley.
Wait, who?
Bo-Katan, a character from the Clone Wars.
Okay, yeah, but she was just in the show earlier. That's not really a cameo.
Yeah, it was only a cameo if it comes from the movies.
I mean, I think we saw her in like the first season.
No. Bo-Katan, yeah, she was in second season.
Okay, second season.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's more of a callback, but I wouldn't really count that as a cameo. She was already in the
That's
show
just
once.
a recurring character. If a character shows up in one season and then shows up in the later season, it's not a fucking cameo. That's just a reoccurring character.
So would Luke Skywalker count as a recurring character if he was in like Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'll take it. Either way, popular character. And I do find it funny that the Mandalorian has basically met so many of the classic Star Wars characters. He just needs to meet Obi-Wan and Anakin, and that will fulfill like the rest of it.
I mean, okay, you know what? I think I would say their first appearances are cameos. Anything
Okay.
after that, then they just become characters.
That works. I think that's
Yeah,
good.
that's a good like way, yeah. Because
I'll
like
agree
the
with that
first
one.
time they show up, it is a cameo. But after, like, if they ever show up
Yeah.
again for that, then it becomes
Because everybody was referencing it as a cameo when she showed up in the second season. So that makes sense to her being a reoccurring character in this season because she was in season oh, that's full screen. Didn't want to do that. But that's episode 1. He talks to her and she basically says, "Yeah, you got to go and here's where the mines are. The place isn't actually poisoned." And he's like, "What are you talking about? I was told that it was poison." She goes, "Nah, man, you're good. It's not poison at all. That's just like fairy tale. That's just superstition." And he's like, "I gotta go bathe in the waters." And she goes, "There's nothing special about those waters, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, but this is the way." And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up."
Okay, this dude's just so attached to his identity as like a member of the clan.
Yeah, like that's all he has. What I hate about what upsets me about the Mandalorian himself is that he's just too much of a blank slate. I feel like what Disney wants is they want him to be the character that we see ourselves as, kind of like a Master
Yes.
Chief. Just a blank slate that you can put yourself in. That way you can see Star Wars through this character's eyes. But you should give him at least a little bit of character. At least,
Right. Like,
a little bit of something. Don't make him so blank that his only identity is that he's a Mandalorian.
yeah.
But yeah, so again, they're talking about Mandalorian, what happened to it, and how he's going in. I want to try and keep this brief because I have other things I want to talk about. And guess what, guys? We're back to Tatooine.
Hey, they're racing.
Yeah.
They're doing thing that they do on that island.
And then we have this this chick that we've seen so many times that we all love, right, guys? We love this lady.
Oh
I
god.
can't even remember her name.
Oh, it's the crazy ship lady.
Yeah, that lady. You know, the fun one.
She was in season 1, right?
Yeah, season 1, 2, and 3. She is definitely a reoccurring character in that one. She's basically telling this guy, "Oh, you know, I couldn't get your parts done on time. I'm sorry what happened. You know, but it's boon to Eve, so you know I have a life. I got big plans, so I'm sorry I didn't get your ship done on time. It's gonna take a little while."
You're stupid.
Yeah, and then as soon as he leaves, she brings out some Jawas and she's like, "Quick, put everything back." So basically, you know, she took a lot of the shit off of his ship that was already done, saying, "Oh, you know, I still need a few extra days that I need paid for." And now that he's gone, they're like, "Quick, put all this shit back together so that way I can just milk him for his money."
Milk him for his money. I thought she was a good guy.
No,
Apparently not.
she works with Jawas. No kidding.
I don't know. She works with those filthy sand midgets. God, I hate Jawas.
They're the scum of Tatooine. She was the
I
one that gave
know.
him this fucking Naboo starfighter, which I'm sorry, but the Endar Spire is better. It has the only thing that the Naboo starfighter does better is that it's more nimble and possibly more powerful. But that's like
And
it.
then, remember when it spun?
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, spinning, that's a neat trick.
They were like, gotta do is spin.
Oh yeah, he can do the front flips by the way, so that's a thing.
Oh god.
He can do the Yoda jumps. Um and so he's talking about that droid part that he needs, you know, all that jazz. And again, a side quest of a side quest, so I couldn't care less. And she goes, "Oh, you know, you should take this droid instead." So this is what I find funny. She's like, "I don't have the memory chip you need, but you know what you should do? You should take this R4 or R5 droid instead." So the entire second half of episode 1 in this season was redundant because he doesn't even take the IG unit. He takes his R5 droid.
Wait, it's so he didn't even rebuild.
No.
So what the fuck was the point of them smashing him and bringing him back alive?
I really don't know. They desecrated a statue. They then crushed it and shot at it. And then they're just getting a different droid, which was the solution from the beginning.
You know what?
And now he has a shittier one because I'm sure, you know, Grief Karga or Carl Weathers could have given him a better droid, but she's just giving him a hand-me-down that she's like, you know, take this one because I don't fucking want it anymore.
I'm starting to think this is a bad show.
Yeah, you know, it's giving me those kinds of vibes. But don't worry, there's I would argue that it's a cameo appearance in this episode that really changes things. And it's so grand, so great.
He looks so shiny.
I know, right? He's so fancy with his Beskar armor. Yeah, she goes, "If you don't settle your bolts, I'm going to sell you back to the Jawas." Like, honestly,
Jeez.
Jesus
Those
Christ.
disgusting, those filthy mongrel dog Jawas. God, we should burn them all.
Oh my god.
Jesus, when did it turn to night? Sorry, just 10 seconds passed. I guess they just did a transition. So, let me see. Yep, they just transitioned. Okay. But yeah, so they take the droid to go and do a thing. He flies off. Fireworks go off because it's that holiday that she was mentioning. So that's fun. And now episode 8 or chapter 18, The Mines of Mandalore. We're doing it, guys.
What do they mine on Mandalore?
Beskar, my friend.
Is that the stuff that their armor's made out of?
Yes, it is.
Aha.
And here's the part where I thought it was funny. He's like, "By the way, I didn't even live on Mandalore. I've never been there. I lived on this moon that's close by in the same system." So he's not even from Mandalore. So it's one of those things where it's like
Mandalore water?
Yeah, I assume it doesn't matter the first time around, but however, if you need to be redeemed, no, you got to go to Mandalore for that, man. You want to become a Mandalorian? Just, you know, some lake water will do it. But if you need to be redeemed, you have to go to the living waters, my guy.
Ooh, it's rainy.
Oh, it's Stormy because, hey, Jace, you remember the Clone Wars? Ready to see Mandalore again? Mandalore is making a reoccurring appearance because, got to milk those Clone Wars dollars. So, here we are. Boom, Mandalore. Yeah, this episode it's so empty of shit. He's looking around and it's just it's a gas plant. He's like, he tells R5 go out, do some scanning, and get some air samples to see if the air is poisoned or not. So R5 ventures off, like it's just empty time. And then he disappears. And Mando's like, fine, I'll go get him. I'll pressurize my helmet and shit. So he goes off, looking for the droid. And there you see, the city.
Ruins.
Yeah, the ruins of the Mandalore city. Like, huzzah. Oh,
Hey.
shit. My shit's frozen. Fuck. I tried backing up, and that was a bad decision. But the one thing that I did find was neat was they did make it look similar to the Clone Wars in the architecture of Mandalore. So that was a nice touch, at least. But to be fair, like this was Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau's like baby, so of course it's gonna have decent details like that. And then boom, he's attacked by these random creatures. So there's your first action scene of this episode. Boom, going after it. He does a fight. He wields the dark saber very, very wildly because apparently he still is yet to master it. Because I think something like it doesn't bond well with him, or it's super heavy, or he doesn't know how to control it. Whatever that it may be.
Maybe it's because he's not an actual Mandalore.
Oh, that could be it. I mean, well, the first time he wielded it, he didn't do so great. Apparently, there's some training that has to be done with the saber itself. R5 unit was fine. And apparently, boom, the oxygen is fine. The charts were wrong. The atmosphere is not poisoned. Whoa. So the Mandalorian is like, oh, I guess it wasn't cursed. Maybe all of our wild superstitions are not true.
Let me ask you.
It's almost like if you're born into a cult and then you leave and experience the world outside of that cult, you learn that like the world is much bigger than just the cult that you were in.
Hashtag deep.
Hashtag deep.
Guys, I'm not like I don't quote me on anything that I say.
Hashtag don't quote me on anything I say.
Riley 2022 or 2023. Guys, don't quote me on this. Riley 2023.
Don't quote me on anything I say. I want that on a coffee mug.
As a quote. So he flies down.
In quotations. Because fuck me.
Ironically, that becomes my most quotable line possible.
It really will, honestly.
So more establishing shots. He goes searching for the mines. And like I said, he hasn't been here before, so he doesn't know where the fuck he's going. He's like, this looks like it goes deeper. We'll take that passage. It's like Gandalf over here where he's like, I've never been to this place, So boom, searching for shit, and he finds a helmet. He's like, oh, it's a Mandalorian helmet. It must have been one of the old ones from the Clone Wars. Again, more Clone Wars references. I mean, you can't not have them here.
Because he's not wearing
a Clone Wars episode.
It could be. It could be a Clone Wars episode. It looks nice. And then boom.
Oh.
Yeah, shit's going down. This big creature captured the Mandalorian, and he's like, quick, find Bo-Katan, who we just saw earlier. So yeah, because he was trapped, and so we need the whammon to get Mando out of this scuffle and this entrapment. So I can honestly skip all of this because it's just general scenes. I mean, this is a cool character or creature. It's neat.
Yeah, this is really nice CGI.
Yeah, I agree. It looks like good design. I will give him that credit. It looks really
it's
creepy and cool.
Because a lot of the drones that they have. Oh.
Nice.
I was attempting to bring it closer so I could see what was going on, and I dropped my phone. But it's interesting because a lot of the droids that they have, uh, they act more mechanical, and this looks like it's a creature.
Yeah, it's
Is
more
it a
creature
creature
than
that came out
mechanical.
of the? It came out of the.
The big
Oh,
machine,
that's
yeah.
cool. Got like
Yeah.
portions
It
back.
is a really cool creature. I will give him that. It looks really nice. So
That's the
Grogu,
thing, guys. This isn't just a droid. It's a crab cyborg.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Is that
This
a
is the
that was a
this is
fun
like a $6 million man, but it's a crab.
Grogu tries to do an arcane check and he rolls below the DC unfortunately. So now he is spotted. So
Okay.
he goes a running. To go find Bo-Katan. So going back the way he came. Oh yeah, there was this, which I didn't really understand the shotting for this, but it's like, oh no, this creature's here. What am I to do? Um, Force, yeah, and that was enough, I suppose. Um,
He did lift up. They established in like episode 1 that he's
th-
a fucking god
yeah, he's better
with
than Yoda with his
with his
powers.
form. He
Front
might be
flip.
what unnecessary front flip. This guy was
He's got the
flexing on
Force,
everything.
man.
Oh my god, it's a dragon.
He's got Force powers, so he flies off. And they, it's set up and payoff. Mando showed him how to use maps in this episode, and now he's using the map to find Bo-Katan. Um,
I want you. You know what I'm really curious about?
What?
Where the fuck are they going with Grogu?
I don't know. I really don't.
Because like we can't. I get it. We brought him back because he's cute,
Yes,
right? And he's a great marketing play,
the
right?
best, the best.
But how are we going to further the story? You know, because
I don't know. Honestly,
you
he
established
can
that it's
barely speak. He's
a
working
world.
on it. He said like a word.
You established that this character within this world that of Star Wars, where these Force abilities are very difficult to master, and he's mastering them like right off the bat. You're establishing that he's going to be very strong and influential with no matter what side it takes.
Yeah.
So that's going to have consequences for story plots down the line. Like if Disney wanted to jump down the line like 4 or 5 years in the universe, and Grogu's older at that point, are we going to see a plot point where we follow him?
I mean,
And if so, if
it won't matter
Disney
much
took
because Grogu is like 50 right now. He's 50 years old.
right, but he lives for like 900 years.
Yep.
So regardless of whether we want to or not, he's going to exist in the canon universe.
Yeah. Where was he during the sequel trilogy?
Right? What the fuck is he doing in the sequel? Well, Disney did say that the sequels are no longer canon.
Bullshit. There's no way that they fucking no way they said that.
I mean, I would look it up because I don't know. I saw it somewhere
Let me look. Let me see.
and didn't think twice about it, but I thought Disney was going a whole new route and they were starting with these shows, building in like a new world.
Okay. Star Wars. Let's see. This is Game Rant, so I don't know how credible they are, but they said Star Wars sequel trilogy is canon, but won't matter in the future. So I guess that's their try and step around.
Wait, so okay, this is basically just like fucking Anakin's like you are part of the council, but we don't give you the rank of master.
That's so true.
Oh Jesus! Like
You
honestly,
are a Star Wars movie, but we do not recognize you.
yeah. You are a Star Wars movie, but we do not recognize you as canon. A fucking meme. What? It's like, it's outrageous. It's unfair. Actually, no, it's pretty fair. But anyway, here's a good shot of Mandalore after its destruction and bombing. That looks pretty cool. They do have some cool shots, and like I will say, it's a pretty looking show. It looks.
I mean, the visuals on the show has always been top notch.
Aside from Book of Boba Fett, the visuals weren't great for that show. Or Obi-Wan Kenobi. That show did not have great visuals either. But Andor had great visuals. So there's that.
They're so cool.
Yeah, they are. So I'm speeding this up by 10-second intervals, by the way. So really nothing is happening. Like look at this. So walking, 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 walking. Like that's 30 seconds or 30 40 seconds of just straight walking. Honestly, more walking. Establishing shot. It's now a tomb. A little bit of dialogue.
What are they talking about?
They're talking about what Mandalore was. Let's see. My family
is-
ruled it all. You know, now it's a tomb. Basically saying Mandalore used to be something great. Now it's not.
And then they glassed us.
Let's go. So flying down, walking, walking. I need you to guide me to where he was, because Grogu's scared. He's like, fine, I'll do it. Let's go. So bravery, character development. Let's go. Walking. Let's see. She starts talking about some of the old days, I suppose, reminiscing, as it were. More walking. And she's asking him about the Force. Blah blah blah. So anyway, a little bit of dialogue. They start coming across. She sees a trap up ahead. She checked for traps and was able to find them. So by the way, range, shoot, and he was able to close the distance close enough for her to get into melee combat. So I feel like with blasters, she could have just walked backwards. I feel like this fight was needless or unnecessary.
If he's closing the distance fast, he might have not had time to move out of range.
I know, but like with a handgun that was already drawn, it wouldn't. I think she's fast enough to be able to shoot the one that's coming at her the closest.
Well,
with two of them.
If he was within 15 feet of her, it would have been at disadvantage anyways.
Okay, this is getting too D&D-esque.
Well, we're still a D&D channel, guys.
That's true.
It's a ranged weapon. It's not meant to be fired within close range. It's not the easiest thing to aim.
Well, I don't know. It is a handgun, so it might be a close ranged weapon, because most handguns are fired in close range.
Yeah.
And she is a legendary creature, so she might negate her disadvantage.
I don't know if she's
fucking nerds.
Legendary is a strong word for her.
Yes, especially right now. Just getting zapped.
But you have to at least be competent to be legendary.
She's got the Darksaber, which, by the way, she wanted from the get-go, or originally, and she actually holds it quite well. So she stabs him, but he's not actually dead. And here was another interesting thing about the creature that I thought was cool, is he's actually a detachable head.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, little neat things. And he gets inside the big machine.
Detachable head.
Yeah. So she starts. There's your third action scene, as per usual. So, but bam, she's fighting it. She defeats it. She wakes up the Mandalorian as he's fading out of consciousness. He wakes up fine. Blah blah blah. They're talking about the kid and he's a tough guy and he's quite the navigator. Again, payoff from the beginning of the episode, I suppose. I like how me and Riley spent so long talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, and we're already 30 minutes into this episode and we've barely had any commentary on the actual show.
There's nothing to fucking talk about.
It's okay. We'll brief through this and then we'll have more things to talk about afterwards. She makes a medicine that apparently all Mandalorians have had. And he's never tried it, so she's like, "Wow, guess you never had this." Neat. Mandalorian? Say what?
Mandalorian and not have all these Mandalorian things.
Well, he wasn't born on the planet of Mandalore. We're saying this word too much.
So hard to be Mandalorian. Just fucking don't get baptized. Jeez.
No shit. So
just live your life. If you're already doing the things that you want to do and you already are the things that you want to be, then why do you need to fucking have water splashed on you?
and she's talking about things again that have happened during the Clone Wars. So references to that. Pains me seeing our own kind fight each other once again, killing each other for reasons too confusing to explain. Blah blah blah. So talking about again Clone Wars stuff, and she's like, actually, you were going the wrong way. The mines are this way. And she's talking about how she bathed in these mines a long time ago because she was like a princess of sorts, I suppose. Yeah. Um, and so this was neat. So she's like, he died defending Mandalore. And he pays his respects, and he's like, this is the way. So that's neat. Um, they finally approach the living water. So here's where the big stuff comes up. So prepare your gonads, boys. Girder your loins, because
Ooh.
shit's about to get real. And she starts making fun of it, acting like it's a tourist attraction. So she's reading off the little thing, the little plaque that it has that you see in many tourist places.
Mhm.
So it contains this mythical beast, the mythosaur or whatnot. It was a symbol of our planet. And she looks over, sarcastically, but she sees how interesting or how seriously he's taking it. And he begins to say the words and the lines and the chant. Because he's finally getting to redeem himself as a Mandalorian, right?
That's what, yeah, bro.
It's what he's got to do. He's finally completing his side quest. So here it goes. Here's the big shit getting ready to do his thing. Starts.
Yo, what if you looked at it?
Say what?
Instead of looking at it as like these stupid waters that he has to, like, to him, this is like his baptism.
Legit. I mean, it is a religion to him.
His show of faith of who he is, where he came from. As
a character thing, I get it. However, the reasons for him needing this, the reasons for him going to these waters, I feel like is what muddles them. Because the main reason why is because, one, he took off his helmet, which I think, I think the reason why he took off his helmet was kind of BS. And two, the seriousness that they're taking it and how he's not being punished in any way except for title is also BS. I feel like the only interesting thing about him is him wanting to go to the waters just because he wants to see himself as a Mandalorian. But it's one small character piece to the whole puzzle that I think is just it's just not enough for me to really get invested in. If this was done correctly, this would be a really awesome scene to watch. But
yeah,
the way they set it up, it's just not. It's just kind of dull. But here's where the interesting things get. And I'll actually remove our filter so y'all guys can, or so the viewers can see. So he's like, I swear on my name, on the names of the ancestors, doing his whole thing. Shall walk the way of the Mandalore. And he's doing the thing. And the words of the creed shall forever be forged in my heart. Blah, blah, blah. And then sloop, he fucking gets pulled under. She jets in, which, by the way, she does full jet speed and swimming. And he's already at the fucking bottom. So he was definitely pulled down, right? By something.
Mm-hmm.
However, when we come across him, which we will see eventually because they're milking some of the time, to build the tension,
Tension.
Prepare yourselves, gentlemen. Because she's diving into the waters, looking around. And ultimately, she looks around and she sees him because his light is on. And so she swims down to him, and here's the big thing. He's sitting there, but he's not attached to anything. Nothing's holding him. So she goes and she jets off. And here's where I'll remove the thing. So I want it to go few seconds by few seconds. So she's swimming up, doing her little thing, jetpacking away, as it were. Actually, let me bring it back up so I can get a good shot of this, because this is the big reveal of this episode. She turns around and I don't know if y'all guys see the scales, or any of that shit. Oh, what the fuck is that? That's an eye. It's looking back at me. She's gasping, and then this shot right here. It's the fucking Mythosaur in its awesome light. Mythosaur
Yeah.
cameo.
Look at him.
Look at the
It's
size of that thing.
it's so pretty.
So anyway, that was the one thing that I watched during this episode, and I was like, oh, that's actually kind of. It looks kind of cool. Like I was like, that's kind of cool. How I got to actually see the fucking Mythosaur. Like
Yeah.
that is a big motherfucker. Like that is
Yeah.
huge.
He looks like he fucks.
Yeah. So she swims back or flies back up by the seat of her pants. Boom, saves Mando. So that's that. That essentially. Let's see. Whimpers. Zoom in on him. Mando's fine. She's looking out in surprise. Blah blah blah. And that's the end of the fucking episode. That's literally what's happened for the past 2 episodes. Fucking nothing.
I mean, I understand that, like, the first few. Oh,
Say what?
Hello?
I understand that, like, yeah, that's the first few episodes, so they have to build up to something. But it really doesn't feel like they're building up to anything.
Yeah, what are they? It's like, what are they building in this situation? What are they trying to
Yeah, like what
achieve?
happens after he gets baptized? Like
Yeah, that's the
Does
whole.
he-
That's supposed to be the whole setup of the episode. That's the whole setup of the season.
build his sword better? Is that it?
I guess It's like I honestly don't know at this point. It just the show's. I'm sorry, but the show's dull. I hate to say it, but the first 2 seasons were
Yes.
were dumb. There's just nothing to the character. There's nothing to this show. Like you look at Andor. Andor was superb. Andor was fantastic in comparison to this show.
Mhm.
I mean, I really tuned out, like, after, like, the first episode. I was like, okay, cool. And then the second episode, I, like, halfway through, it was just white noise. It was like TV static. I was like, I couldn't give enough of a fuck to, like, keep up with what the show was going on with.
What
Guys,
for?
I haven't lost a single game since I got on the podcast.
You haven't what?
I haven't lost a single game since I got on the podcast.
Dude, let's
What game were
go.
you-
Playing
what
Halo
game were you
Infinite?
playing?
Yeah, boy.
Halo Infinite, my guy. I wish I could be
The
playing
only
Halo
game
Infinite right now.
We put time into. I don't know why I chose Halo Infinite.
Hey,
it's a shit game.
Yeah. I mean, honestly though, out of all the Halo games, its game mechanics are actually pretty sweet.
But they're really dope.
Yeah. I mean, it pains me so much because out of all of our Halo, like the gameplay and this and that, Halo Infinite is some of the most entertaining Halo gameplay I've had in actual years. Halo 3 is great. I love Halo 3. Halo Reach is also great. I love Halo Reach. But in comparison to Halo Infinite, they legit feel outdated in comparison. Like
Yeah.
Halo Infinite is so fresh and new as far as gameplay goes. It's honestly it's fun. It's so much fun to play. I really enjoy it.
You should hop on and play.
Well, unfortunately, the TV's in this direction, so I
What's-
can't play it right now.
So you could just play too. And now you're dead.
Who knows? Maybe we can all play after this. I don't know, Riley. You have an Xbox or do you have a PC, right? Oh shit. You can
Yeah,
you can
Jeremy, I want
download-
you to
you
take a guess
Yeah,
at
you-
how that's gonna go down.
Oh yeah, shit. Fuck.
What?
Sorry. Do you have your Xbox still, or do you even have an Xbox?
I mean, yeah, I got an Xbox, but I don't have Master Chief Collection downloaded on.
Oh, well, Halo Infinite, the multiplayer's free.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe
I
we
mean-
can play a few rounds.
We'll see how it goes.
See how it goes. Yeah.
But I mean, is this the end of the episode, guys?
I don't know. I mean, we can still talk
Right.
about.
It really.
Like, please let me out of here.
I'm just like, God, that episode was just nothing.
We could always talk about Cocaine Bear.
Dude,
I gotta go see Cocaine Bear.
Honestly, y'all guys need to go see Cocaine Bear. It is definitely gives you B movie kind of slasher film vibes, but it is so stupid fun, honestly.
That's okay. Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not. That's the thing. It's like I don't say that as a complaint.
Yeah, I
Watching
think it's exactly what it should be.
exactly. Cocaine Bear should not be a AAA, title. It shouldn't be, Hollywood project because then it's going to be, watered down. Like there's so many stupid and silly payoffs in Cocaine Bear. It's very fun and entertaining to watch. It is the only problem I had with watching it in the theaters was some parents brought their kid along and the kid was doing that stupid kid thing where they announce everything that happens in the film.
Ah,
Who the
that's
fuck brings their kid to see a movie called Cocaine Bear?
I don't know, but they did. And so it was one of those things where
me the first.
Losers.
yeah, one of the guys was like, they had him at gunpoint or something, and they said, where'd you hide the rest of the cocaine? Because I'm here to grab it. The guy's like, oh, I put it up on top of a gazebo. I hid it up there, and then it, slap cuts to or hard cuts to the detective who's walking up to the gazebo, and the kids in the background is like, he goes, oh, that's the gazebo where they hid the cocaine, and I just want to go, shut the fuck up. I was like, I get it. Like, Jesus Christ, you don't have to. God.
I don't. You know what, guys? I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
I think child labor laws are ruining this country. I think we should put kids back in the mines.
You know what?
Put them in the mines of Mandalore.
Video a post the other day, and it was like the number one game played in 2023 was Minecraft, and
Right.
someone was, the children yearn for the mines.
As they do. Cocaine Bear
mean-
was it was absolutely a wild ride. It wasn't as extreme and crazy as I thought it was gonna be, but it was definitely a fun slasher. It's a must watch. Just for the fucking fun of it, honestly. What I really wanted to talk about today, as far as the Mandalorian goes, is just how the Mandalorian as a concept is a terrific one, and how much they've just messed it up to make it not what I want it to be, and why Andor does so well in my eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, so how? Let's get into that a little bit. I'm curious. I haven't seen anything Star Wars in a while, so I'm coming through it from just like a third party perspective, as like someone who knows film and knows how stories are created. Like, and I'm curious of what would you do to what would you do to create a story that you would watch?
For like the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could change the storyline or the structure or how they do things to make it fit more of what you would be interested in watching. Like, what would you do? Because, I see that it has its points and its merits, but if you see that there's flaws within its stories, you have to have something driving that. So there has to be an idea behind it that would be better,
Right.
And I'm curious what those would be.
So first off, I do like the concept of them building on the Mandalorians as a quote unquote religion or ideology. I do like the idea of making it kind of a culture or even a cult. I think it's interesting to make them go that far. What I would do differently is something where I got some inspiration from Andor on, which the thing I liked about Andor was it was apart from Star Wars in a sense, because when you think Star Wars, you think lightsabers, the Empire, you think stormtroopers, Luke Skywalker, right? The whole all the iconic characters, right?
The Force.
Mhm.
Yes, the Force. Andor has nothing to do with that. You see stormtroopers in like the last 2 episodes of the show. There's the only thing that you see of the Empire isn't even like the Empire. It's it's like the Imperial Security Bureau, where you're watching like these
Out then.
you watch these bureaucrat politicians going at it trying to find this one character, Andor, who is a side character of a spin-off movie, right? So it has nothing to do with a lot of the iconic Star Wars stuff, and I liked it because it world builds in a very local level. It's very local. You're not dealing with the Empire,
And
small security firms that are in control over particular regions, things like that, right? It's very localized. So for Mandalorian, what I would do is I would, for one thing, no cameos. I would not want a single cameo in the Mandalorian at all. Maybe Boba Fett at the most, maybe, because he's technically a Mandalorian in a sense, or at least he carries the same armor. What I would do is I would have essentially a bounty hunting show where you follow the Mandalorian and you build him a character arc, a changing of his character, maybe becoming a more softer human being after going on 2 or 3 bounty hunting missions where in the beginning he's this very crude and hardened veteran who like you see in the very beginning where he's like, I'll take you in warm or I'll take you in cold, right?
right.
And you watch
So
him, yeah, yeah. And you watch him do a couple of missions, watching him go on these wild adventures of trying to take down either pirates or political rivals, or even maybe rebellion characters, or people that have to do with the rebellion to bring him into the Empire. But I feel like that's still a bit too close to home, as it were. Um, and then at the very end, if they really wanted to go the Grogu route, have the end of season 1 begin with uh, the episode 1 of Mandalorian, where it's like, you know, I've killed countless people, I've done a lot of dark stuff, but I'm not gonna kill a kid, and so
oh my
you know what I mean. So I'll take
yeah.
him in as my own. And I'll figure out what to do with him from there. Um, give him over here, give him over there. Maybe give him to a republic or a resistance sect. Give him off to something different. You deal with it there. But from the get go, I think he would have done better just at being a bounty hunting show, because who doesn't want to watch a bounty hunter go and do all kinds of action like that? You know?
Yeah, I love that. That's a great idea for a show. Cowboy Bebop did that really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally Cowboy Bebop. It's just a bounty hunting show.
That's awesome. See that, and people love Cowboy Bebop. People think Cowboy Bebop's an awesome show.
It's one of the classics. It went down as one of the best in history.
Exactly. So it's proven to work. And imagine that, but with the Star Wars IP, come on, like that would rock.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he's got the.
I mean, if it would be great if we saw, because we hear about it a lot, but we don't get to see like the underground.
Yeah. Yeah.
The smuggling trades. I think it would be so fun to have like the Mandalorian be involved with that, because that's how we're kind of introduced to them, and
Yeah. See, like the inner streets of Coruscant, or like actual, like maybe not Coruscant, but like the actual small local areas. For instance, in what is it called? In Andor, there was a planets. Ferrix. They introduced this planet called Ferrix, which is where the place Andor grew up on, and they build this culture of Ferrix and what the people are there, and the kind of workforce that they have, the jobs that they do, and the culture in this town.
right,
They build that from the ground up. Yeah, they reference Coruscant and other areas, but they build another culture in Aldahani with with this Jesus, got a chihuahua over here
well,
dying. But they build cultures in these different areas, very localized, and planets that we've never heard of, and that's something
right.
that I really appreciate of the show. And they build on on actual characters, which I thought they should have done with Mando as well. Because if they actually made Mando a character, I think the audience would have loved him.
Right.
What about you, Riley? What would be your ideas to make Mandalorian a better show?
So basically, like, it's in the similar vein of like what you said about Andor, is that the reason why the show is so good is because it was allowed to stand on its own.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
And so I think like not enough like Star Wars shit is just its own thing. It's a
Right.
huge it's a huge universe.
Right.
There's tons of different cultures that you can literally just still make up now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
But no, they just circle around like this one central theme and all the major players inside of it.
Yeah. I agree. That's the that was always the problem that I had with the Obi-Wan Kenobi show and the Book of Boba Fett is everything they made Star Wars feel so small.
mm,
You know, like there's only like Tatooine and Coruscant and a couple of other places, but that's about it. That's all you got going for you. You know, and it's always the same characters. It's either going to be Boba Fett, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Luke, like all of these same characters. You're not going to see
you know
any
what
new
I would have
characters.
liked to have seen,
What?
and I was given this thought when we were talking about it. I really would have liked to seen like a Mandalorian show where, like I was saying earlier, where they delve into like the bounty hunting and like the underground of
Yeah,
Star, but like as like the main antagonist or the boss figure in the show, I would have. It would have been so cool to have them do Jabba the Hutt,
that would be cool.
because it would have made sense, because Jabba the Hutt is the biggest name in the underground.
Yeah.
Uh, he's showed time and time again in the original movies to be of like such a big shot,
Oh
right?
yeah, the Huts. The Huts are. I mean, even in the Clone Wars like show, the Huts are well known as gangsters across the galaxy, not just in Tatooine.
Right, but do in the show do you really explore like what they
Oh no no
do?
yeah with the Clone Wars they just kind of make references here and there and they're like
It would be
they
great to sort of show like what they do, like, show
yeah
us how powerful and how awful they are.
they're just
That
known
way,
as gangsters.
right? That way, in like when Luke kills them in the third movie, it would be way more impactful.
Yeah, exactly, and they could build off of Jabba's character along with along with the Huts and the underground of Star Wars. Like there's so many things that they could have done here, and they're like, nope, we're gonna loop the Mandalorian into where everybody to where you just see yourself through the eyes of the Mandalorian, and you get to see all of the different characters that we all know and love. It's like you couldn't make something new; you just had to milk a lot of the old stuff.
Right.
But yeah, you know,
I mean, I think it's still interesting.
yeah,
Like that would those concepts would like the characters that they built, the original characters. The reason they keep bringing them back is because they were so compelling.
yeah,
And that's the problem, is that the original characters were so compelling that the ones that they have now that maybe don't have as strong of a story, you know,
yeah.
is not as compelling, and so they need these older characters that already have story and time and a relationship with the audience to kind of bring that viewership back.
Well, like
So
what upsets me is the unfortunate thing that nobody really clocked Andor. Nobody really took a glance at it to see if it was a good show because obviously it didn't have a lot of the big characters. It was just a random guy in a couple of the other shows. So it just it sucks because it's the one genuinely good product that Disney has made for Star Wars, like wholeheartedly. There's not a whole lot of problems with Andor. The
what
writer wanted to
Philip
make this. Say what?
what did Philip think about Andor?
I don't honestly recall, but Philip would be the most interesting person to probably call on the show because I think he enjoyed the first two episodes of The Mandalorian season 3. Um,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, so there's me and Philip always have an interesting always have interesting conversations about Star Wars.
We need to have a episode where there's you, the opposition, Philip, the uh I guess resting, and then like me and Riley as the neutral party, and we
Yeah.
just dive into. I think the conversations would be so entertaining, especially when you and Phil like go back and forth on y'all's ideas and ideals.
And how we talk about bikes for 2 hours.
Yes, but that still stands as one of the best conversations I think I've had.
We're doing a Mandalorian podcast. Yeah.
Who?
Sorry, I was talking to oh god, Andrew.
Andrew.
Yeah, Shay's mom's boyfriend. Cause I'm over at their house right now.
Oh, that's right. What's
Yeah.
up, Andrew?
That's the only reason why we're able to stream right now. Because we're actually live streaming. We're not just recording a session.
Oh, we're live?
Yeah, we're live. We're actually
Yo.
live. Because they
Phil.
pull. Wait,
Who's watching? Is there anyone watching?
we've had I think 13 views throughout this stream.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a shame that I said all of that really racist shit about Jawas earlier.
Can't take it back now, Riley. You're gonna be
No,
demonetized.
You know what? Listen, I don't apologize for anything that I've said. I stand by every word. Jawas are trash and they are a blight on this galaxy.
Using the hard J, Riley.
Yeah. Those filthy Jawas.
Wow, you really found a way to add an R to that.
Yeah, it was very uncomfortable. It didn't, honestly, I don't even think it worked.
You know, that's why it's so cruel and unusual as a phrase. That's why no one uses it.
Yeah.
It's such a
Yeah,
hard slur.
yeah.
It makes the user uncomfortable.
It's a lot of very hard consonants, and they don't go well together.
Oh man. I think though next podcast we should. I plan on buying Puss in Boots soon, so we can all watch it together. Because I think that would be an episode we could dedicate it towards.
Yeah. I
'cause
like this. We just get the guys on Discord and you're like just sharing your screen, but we're all just kind of commenting on
yeah,
it.
honestly, that was a lot of fun. I think we could even do like live reactions to episodes in the future.
Well, I don't know if my actions will be live because I'm straight up playing Halo Infinite right now.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. Honestly, a lot of streams go that way anyway, so you're good. I just like doing this to hang out with the guys every now and again.
Yeah, it's good to hang out with the broskies.
Yeah.
If I had a can of beer, I would. Oh wait, hold on. Oh,
Maybe one day we'll do a video game stream where we can all just like play Halo together. That'd be fun.
that would be
Great.
I mean, I probably wouldn't stream it at my house because I can't, but you know.
I went to the gym today, and I was doing squats.
Oh,
Oh,
that's the
Yeah.
worst.
I added like more plates than I've ever done before. I think I had a 45, a 25. No, a 45, a 35, a 25, a 10, and then a 2.5 on the end.
Nice.
Nice, dude.
Were you on the Smith machine?
Yeah, I was squatting.
Yeah. I just didn't know if you were like using just the normal barbells or if you were actually using the Smith machine.
What's the switch machine?
Smith machine is the thing that's on the rails that go up and down.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I wasn't like balancing it on my own.
Yeah. Those are good for like hack
I
squats and stuff.
use the Swifting thing because I don't have a belt right now,
Yeah.
and there's no way I would have been able to do that without a belt if I wasn't being assisted by the machine.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I think that that wraps up our commentary on the Mandalorian. I think what I want to do for as far as Mandalorian goes is honestly because if the show continues like this, I'm just going to watch the entire show and then just release a a podcast or even a video discussing my thoughts on it, it might not be podcast worthy. Um, we'll
You know
see.
what? I really think this is one of those shows where we just make one episode talking about the whole season, because the entire season, we honestly feel it really does feel like we could just fit the whole
Yeah,
season into one episode.
I mean, you saw in that second episode. Do you see how much establishing shots, walking, looking there, like there was.
I think I think okay, so each episode is like 30 minutes. I think we watched maybe 8 minutes of that episode.
Yeah, 8 minutes
Like
of
we
like
sat
meaningful
and
commentary
yeah,
We could
we sat and
honestly
watched.
wait until all of the episodes are out, and then just watch them all
live.
in one, yeah, live in one day, and it would still probably be the same length.
Yeah, honestly, like that.
Like the episode would probably still be the same length.
The only thing that they've got going for them is that they dropped the mythosaur like on this episode. That's the only
Yeah,
thing I think that's gonna pull anybody's attention. Where they're like, "Oh, it's the thing, it's the thing," you know.
God, that is the most Star Wars fucking shit ever.
I know, I hate it. See that I think that's where me and Philip mostly disagree. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Philip. We agree on a lot of things Star Wars, but I think the biggest difference between me and Philip is I like a lot of character writing, and I feel like he likes a lot of spectacle things. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah,
Like, I like I said, I think he has a lot of good opinions, and honestly, he brings a lot of nuance to some of the stuff that I thought was just kind of plain Jane.
well, he's also like he's super knows like all of the lore.
Yeah, yeah. He
There's
knows
like
a lot about the expanded universe that I don't, and he puts a lot of that into his commentary on the stuff that we normally would go over your head. Because I usually just take it kind of as it is, and he's like, "No, if you look at the expanded universe, which technically is not in canon, so it doesn't necessarily count. But if you want to, if you want to play into it, then that's
well,
like
I mean,
personal canon."
expanded universe, and they're doing stuff now that they're using expanded universe in. Wouldn't that bring the expanded universe into canon?
Some of it, yes, but it would be specific to whatever that item is or thing is per se. Because I
right.
know mythosaurs vary in size, but this is now the canon. They're ginormous looking. You know what I mean? When before
Right.
I thought when I looked up pictures before, they just looked like creatures you could like ride on top of like a horse.
Right.
So it's like this is we've canonized it, but it's now like massive. So it doesn't
Well,
necessarily. It's not
you
a
know what they're
one to
probably gonna
one.
do?
Say what,
They're
Riley?
probably gonna they're probably gonna go with like, no, this is the mother of all
Oh
Mythosaur.
yeah, that
Yeah.
That classic trope.
yeah.
Classic.
It's the mother of all mythosaurs. It's the
It's,
Mythosaurosaurus.
you know, land of the Mandalorians.
Yep,
They have the queen.
absolutely.
Who else are they serving?
Yeah, who else? Um, but yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us. Thank y'all guys for watching. We will cover more Mandalorian later on if there's anything worth covering. Um, we'll cover Puss in Boots probably, hopefully next week if I can get us all to do a watch together and watch it. Cause look, like I said, I know I keep hyping up the movie. It's not like anything legendary, but it's just a fun movie to watch. You know what I mean?
I've
So
heard really good things about it. I heard that it was
see,
a
there,
spectacular.
it's an interesting thing when Avatar: The Way of the Water took over a decade to create and still doesn't perform as well in reviews as Puss in Boots.
Right.
Like there's something to be said to that, for a movie that took that long to make, that was like hyped all to hell, and then Puss in Boots does better in the reviews.
Yeah.
Like
I think there is some merit to that, where it's like we've waited so long, so now anything that comes out is going to not meet expectations.
well, if you ask anybody who watched Avatar: The Way of the Water, they were like, "Oh yeah, I saw it. It was pretty. It was cool." But a lot of the critics were like, "Yeah, but the story really wasn't there. It was kind of simple, dull. Then had a lot of useless stuff in it." Where Puss in Boots is just back to back, like joke, character development, joke, like actual, you know, deep thoughts on the perspective of death and how you utilize your life and how you reflect on your past and like joke actual like funny references to fantasy characters because that's kind of what DreamWorks' gig is.
Right.
And they play into that, and it's so well. And not to mention the animation style was great. There's a lot of good things to say about it. Shut the fuck up. It,
What the fuck are you talking to?
the fucking chihuahua that keeps sneezing.
Oh, I thought you were talking to your wife. I was
No.
like, finally,
Just-
Jesus.
No.
I was like, finally, he put her in her place.
Honestly, I don't even know if the chihuahuas are picking up on the mic, but I just wanted to yell at them anyway. Because I don't like any of them besides Bellis. She's cute. Anyway, but like it's actually a genuinely fun movie to watch, and I think there would be a lot that we could talk about as far as the qualities of the movie, and that's the main reason why I talk about it. Because with Avatar, again, you ask somebody about it, like, oh yeah, I watched it, it was a fun movie, but it kind of died down as far as like talking goes. Nobody really talked about Avatar, The Way of the Water. People won't shut the hell up about Puss in Boots, like myself
Yeah.
included, obviously. If you got a movie that's talking that much, there's got to be some merit to it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
No, totally legit. I mean,
Sounds exciting. Do you have to have watched any of the other Puss in Boots?
Well, I mean, I heard the first Puss in Boots was kind of mid. It was a bland movie. But the good news is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. You don't have to have watched the first movie to watch it, because I didn't. I didn't watch the first movie, and you're able to easily catch on to characters and the way things rolled. Where some of the characters that came in, I didn't even know they were from the original movie, but because they played them in so well,
Right.
it just flowed naturally. So it worked well. But yeah, so we'll have to watch that soon. So
all right, cool.
anyway, thank y'all guys so much
Well.
for watching again. We'll catch y'all guys later.
Catch us on our next gaming
Yeah.
stream as soon as this podcast ends. You guys can hop on.
Totally.
We're going to be live in about 2 minutes or so. So
Totally.
Action Bros Gaming, we never stop putting
Where we
out
bros do action.
where we bros
All right,
do it.
bye.
Bye.